always had a long-standing tradition of honoring our veterans. And I'm glad to see that we had a great turnout tonight, and welcome you all again. So
some of you know me, some of you don't. But I'm Charles Pike, Lake County Veterans Service Officer. Many come to my office and they go, "What do you do?" I hear that a lot. And then I might be sitting outside work with somebody in the hallway and I hear, looks like a snot-nosed little kid. He doesn't know nothing.
You're old, Charlie, just saying.
We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine.
This is what I do. I assist veterans and their dependents of VA benefits. That's what I do. I'm not the VA. How many of you thought I was the VA? Raise your hand. You'd be surprised how many people think I'm the VA. I think I'm better than the VA.
I'd like to speak briefly on the Honor Road Monument that's on the courthouse lawn. That was erected back in the early 1950 by a gentleman named Harry Anthony. Some of you may recall him. He was a World War I veteran, and then became mayor of Lakeview. And after World War II, of all the lives that Lake County lost, he and I think the gentleman, the stonemason, was a gentleman named Duncan. Anyway, he took it upon himself to travel around the county doing fundraising endeavors to create that monument that's on the courthouse lawn today. Now, over the years, it wasn't given a whole lot of maintenance, and it got in great disrepair. Some years ago, the VFW initiated a fundraiser to make some repairs on it, and there's a notable number of folks that make substantial contributions. But we kept looking at it, and the cost of refurbishing that monument, some contractors said it was beyond repair, so we looked at some other options. But at the last minute, our county facility manager, Dave Berman, was able to locate a stonemason by the name of James Merrill, who is actually our fairgrounds maintenance person. His father was a mason, and he had great experience. And the county kind of coughed up a lot of money to pay. It's way over $40,000, but we, instead of doing away with the monument that is a landmark here, we was able to refurbish it.
Today, we honor two of our Lake County fallen comrades. Jessica Ann Ellis, born June 26, 1983, Burley, Idaho. Michael Wayne Miller, born August 27, 1985, Lakeview, Oregon. Jessica graduated from Lakeview High School in 2002. While in high school, she lettered in track and cross country. Then she attended Central Oregon Community College in Bend for 2 years and worked 3 summers as a U.S. Forest Service firefighter at the Fremont-Wainema National Forest. In 2004, she enlisted in the Army and became a medic.
I had the great pleasure of growing up with Jessica here in Lakeview. I was a freshman her senior year, and she took me under her wing, and we stayed pretty close. And I remember calling Jessica and telling her that I myself planned to enlist in the military. And she said, "Oh yeah, what branch?" And I said, "I'm going to the Air Force." She goes, "Wrong choice." She was not happy. But we both ended up as medics, her in the Army and me in the Air Force. And we stayed in pretty close contact, and she was the girl that you would walk down the hallway and there wasn't somebody that passed her that didn't get a big smile and a hello. She was always happy, always bright, always the one to tell you, you can do it. I remember watching her run track as an athletic trainer, and there'd always be that kid that fell behind, and she was the one that would go stand on the track, and she would run the rest of the race on the grass with that person. Come on, you can do it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And she was, that was just Jessica. She was very positive and very driven. And from talking with a couple of her comrades at her services, that's how she carried on in the military as well. Actually, before the incident that took her life, I believe it was about 3.5 months before that, she was in another accident. And she called me about a week after that. And she says, this is scary stuff. And she said, but don't give up. She's like, us Lake County girls, they've never seen nobody like us. And so she definitely was one that always had a smile on her face and always encouraging. And I think that she would be very honored, as well as Steve and Linda would be very honored to see their daughter's name on this plaque.
When I spoke to Charlie the other day and I told him that I had something that I'd like to speak to you guys about Mike, he asked me, he says, are you going to be able to do this? And I said, I don't know, I think I can. And then he showed the picture of Mike and I got really emotional, and then I looked at him and I said, I don't know, I think I can. So this community where I grew up as a family where Mike's dad, his grandparents were here. Steve came here when he was, I believe it was the 4th grade. So, you know, Lake County has been a home to the Millers and the Blairs, and we feel that that Mike was a part of this whole community, even though he didn't graduate from here. We left when he was a freshman in high school. But the people, and I look out and I can see several people, Mrs. Crocker, Joyce Mobley, and several others, but they're the ones that really stand out to me. They did a lot for our family when Mike passed away. In fact, Joyce was the one that gave Mike his very first haircut. And, you know, it's this kind of community that helps us as families get through the times like this. And so being a part of this community is a godsend to me. And you know, Steve and his family no longer live here in Oregon, but they still have some ties here. And I look down and I see, you know, my boys. I see Chris, and I see Mike's younger brother Connor. Kurt is in Amarillo, Texas with his wife and his grandparents, my parents, Steve's dad, Wayne, my aunt and uncle, you know, all these people that have, my brothers, my nephews, all of these people here that are here for this reason, for Mike, for you veterans, for the community, for Jessica. And it just does my heart really, really good to be part of this community. I could not ask to be a part of a better community, ever. You guys have been amazing. And so I just wanted, you know, to thank you, Charlie and Lori, thank you for being a huge part of what's going to be happen here tonight with the honoring of Jessica and Michael. And now she's able, and the rest of the family are able to have a place to go visit Mike, and for the ones that knew Jessica to go visit her. So I'm very honored, and I know my family's honored to have this happen here. And I will say this about Mike. Mike was the rock of our family for myself and my youngest boys when we left. And I remember when he came home and told me that he wanted to go into the service, and I said, and he was 17 at the time, and I said, okay. And I said, you're going to be an MP, right? Like your dad. And he says, yeah. And I said, you promised me when you go to the MEP station, you're not going to do infantry. No, I promised, Mom, I'll be an MP. He came home and he told me, Mom, I'm infantry. And, but that's what he wanted to do. It's what he wanted to do. And I couldn't be more proud of him. I couldn't be more proud of him as a soldier, as a son, as a brother. He, you know, learning from the gentleman that I spoke with in Colorado when they had his official military ceremony, Mike was so well loved by those soldiers. It was incredible. Some of those men that, you know, our son was 22 when he died in his second tour of Iraq. He had men that were in their 40s and 50s looking up to him for guidance. And Mike, that's how Mike was. That's just how he was. That was the type of person that Mike was. He was very funny. He was happy. He smiled. His smile would just invade a room. It's so infectious. And I have never been more proud of him. And the day that I pinned his blue lanyard on him at Fort Benning after he graduated basic training, I looked into his eyes and I saw a man. He left a boy and he came back a man. It was probably the proudest moment of my life with him. He loved what he did and he knew the consequences. And I just want to thank you guys for doing this, and I honor the rest of you vets that are here. I thank you for your service. Our families thank you for your service and your sacrifices and the family's sacrifices. And I am truly blessed, as well as the rest of my family. We are very blessed to be in this community, and I just want to thank you. And I know someday that we'll see Mike again. I'll see him because I believe he is in heaven fighting a bigger battle that's yet to come. And I know that I'll know him because of his smile and his laughter and his hug. And I cannot wait to have one of those big Michael Wayne Miller bear hugs. So I love you, son. I'm proud of you. The community is proud of you. And I just want to thank you.
Jessica Ann Ellis died May 11th, 2008, Baghdad, Iraq. Operation Iraqi Freedom. Army Corporal Ellis was assigned to the 2nd Brigade Special Troops Battalion, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, as a medic. 3 weeks before Jessica's death, she escaped with only cuts and bruises when her heavily armed vehicle was destroyed by a roadside bomb. She often went on patrol with combat engineers who cleared away roadside explosives. The courageous medic, who was equipped with an M4 rifle, 9mm pistol, and body armor, in addition to her medical bag, was seated behind the driver when her Buffalo armored vehicle was hit by an improvised explosive device during a nighttime mine clearing operation. Jessica was the daughter of Steve and Linda Ellis. She also survived by brother Cameron and sister Mandy. Awards and decorations: Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Army Commendation Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Meritorious Unit Citation, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Service Ribbon, Combat Medical Badge. Michael Wayne Miller died January 27, 2008, National Naval Medical Center, Bethesda, Maryland. Operation Iraqi Freedom. Sergeant Michael W. Miller, 22, of Albany, Oregon, was assigned to 3rd Squadron, 61st Cav Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 2nd Infantry Division, Fort Carson, Colorado. He died January 27, 2008, at the National Naval Medical Center, Bethesda, Maryland, of wounds sustained in Baghdad on July 9, 2007, when the vehicle was encountered an improvised explosive device during his second tour of duty in Iraq. Michael was the son of Steve and Renee Miller and the husband of Megan. He also survived by 3 brothers, Christopher, Kurt, and Connor. Awards and decorations: Purple Heart, Army Commendation Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Medal, Korean Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terror Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terror Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Combat Infantry Badge.
This memorial plaque signifies the fallen brave men and women that represent the character of a nation who has a long history of patriotism and honor, and a nation who has fought many battles to keep our country free from the threats of terror.
I'm Steve Miller, I'm the father. And a family friend was in the Marine Corps, served in Afghanistan, and brought back the flag that he brought that was in Afghanistan, and a certificate with Mike's name on it dedicated to Mike. And I would like to donate it to the VFW here in Lake County, and also a check for $500.
What an honor.
Thank you very much. VFW 47th, post 47th, accept your kind remembrance, and we will display it with great honor. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.